every day in your face. We gon' keep it real, just like Holyfield, you know the deal. Toby Lane, the Lover's Lane, Westwood, the Raleigh, man. City of Kings, City of Dreams, City of Things, and Triple Beam. Better watch your back, matter of fact.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Good Life Podcast. I'm your host, Pastor David B. Foss, and of course, you know, the B is for blessed. I'm here with, I would say a good friend, but really more like family. I mean, we 2-3 generations deep. Good friend of mine, Gwendolyn. Make sure I get it right. Craig won't get on. Gwendolyn Woods. But no, I'm here with her today. You know, she a super busy lady these days, so I appreciate you taking time out of the schedule, coming out and joining us today. So,
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, how's everything?
Good. I consider you my cousin, my brother, so
Yeah,
I am not your friend.
No, not at all. You know how you grow up, you be trying to tell everybody, it's my family. You try to get a favor or something, but you know. But no, it really is like that though, man. Just so many memories, you know, think about growing up and just hanging out and doing a different thing.
YPWW.
Yeah, running around. Seemed like the church used to be so big, didn't it?
I know. It did seem big.
Like upstairs, downstairs, we had all these different little rooms and stuff. But no, it's good to have you. You know, like I said, definitely. And just growing up, like I said, we definitely been tight. But how was it? You know, speaking of like when you were growing up, you know, did you have like a dream of what you wanted to become growing up?
I really didn't have a dream of growing up. What mattered to me most as a kid, I just wanted love and happiness. Honestly, you know, as a kid, when they say wish on a star, my wish was for love and happiness. That's all I cared about. And I think that I've gotten that, a lot of love, and I am a really happy, joyous person. So everything else falls into place. I just want love and happiness.
Right. So shout out to Al Green on there.
Love and
But no, so yeah, no, that's good though. But because I know, like growing up, of course, you know, you ran track,
right?
You know, and you was a star. You know,
I was
like
pretty good.
Yeah, you was really good.
Pretty
You was really good. Like everybody's like, Gwen going to the Olympics, and, you know, she gonna.
Now I
do
did dream. You know, as a kid, when you're kind of good, you're like, I would like to go to the Olympics.
Right.
Shortly, but it didn't happen.
Right. Because, I mean, actually, you know, growing up, it was a lot of female black role models in track that were doing really good.
Yeah, and I got to meet, like, Rochelle Stevens from here. Shout out to Rochelle Stevens.
Wow, yeah, definitely.
I remember, I didn't know who she was one day at this track. She gave me these new cleats, spikes, and I didn't know who she was, but I think that she thought that my spikes were really old, but they were good look because I had never lost them.
Ah, okay.
So she wanted to give me those, and I'm like, no, these are working really well. No offense, but then after I realized whose spikes I did not take.
Wow.
I'm sorry again, Rochelle.
Have you had a chance to run back to it?
Yeah, we're friends.
Okay. Yeah, so that's good then. Yeah, so growing up, you didn't really have a dream of just, running track, but you just wanted to be like good at whatever you did.
Yeah, I felt like I was always super competitive.
Yeah, you were.
Very competitive.
Right.
So I liked to win, whatever it was.
Yeah.
If it was a tennis shoe time contest, I wanted to be first.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah, no, I remember that. I mean, actually, if I could say, I remember you being like a tomboy.
I still am. It's both.
Yeah. So I mean, like you, and I remember like being not only competitive, like you. Gwen, one thing we knew, Gwen was always fighting.
I mean, I grew up in South Memphis. You got to learn these hands and the other hands. I needed both.
So we had to put both hands to use. Yeah, but no, I remember that. Like I said, so that competitive nature came to you naturally.
Right.
Yeah, sports and just like I said, growing up where you grew up with, and then also being the youngest.
I had an older brother who I'm positive he wanted a little brother, and so wrestling and roughness, it's my brother's fault. So I was also the girl around a lot of boys. Now, I wasn't a fast little girl, but I liked to jump and run. So I was around boys, and so I kind of picked up some of those habits. You have to have tough skin when you're around the fellas.
Yeah, you do. Yeah. They, we don't have no fear to sometimes. We just kind of let stuff fly and come out.
So I'm accustomed to that.
Yeah. So that helped you out. Okay, well, I mean, that toughness, how does that play a part in, like, kind of what you do now,
I think that, number one, in order to be successful, you have to have that don't give up attitude. attitude, right?
Good, right?
And so the same competitive attitude I had in there, any goal that I set, I just make sure that I work at it. I don't want to give up. And when you're dealing with the youth or you're dealing with corporate, you can't have soft skin, right?
Yeah,
you have to take a tick and what's that? What are the
Take a lick
and keep on ticking?
Yeah.
So I feel like I credit my growing up in the inner city and being that tomboy little girl to having what I need to just don't give up and keep working hard. So I'm proud of all of that.
Oh no, that's great. So like I said, being first, not only the black but female CEO of the Boys and Girls Club, like how does it feel? Like, has it hit you yet?
I'm still soaking it in.
Yeah.
I wish my mom was here to see this, but she probably wouldn't be surprised because she always she had so much faith that she believed that if she told me I could fly, I would try to fly because my mom believed that I can do it. It feels great. We had a lot of good men before me that did an amazing job as the CEO of our organization. I just hope that I can carry the torch and continue to do the amazing work that they did. So it's not enough to just get the seat. I want to do a really good job sitting in the seat. So
leave a lasting legacy. Right. So think about that. Leaving a legacy. How or what do you think that means to other young girls, especially girls who may have had just similar situation growing up in the inner city?
I feel like sitting in this seat, because Boys and Girls Club motto is to inspire those who need us most to realize their full potential. And just by sitting in this seat, not only the girls, but the young boys can see somebody that grew up in the inner city that many didn't believe would be sitting in this seat or accomplish anything, to be honest.
Right.
To sit in this seat, to work hard, be acknowledged for the work you do, given this opportunity and seize the moment, if it lets them know that you can do anything. Like, don't give up. I am a living billboard of what hard work and taking advantage of the opportunity looks like.
Right, and persevering, right. Especially, like I said, growing up in the inner city and then, growing up in a single-parent home, not in the necessary traditional way, like somebody leaving, throwing the deuces, but your dad passed away. Now, how old were you when your dad passed away? 4. Wow.
So, very young.
Yeah. Do you have any memories?
I don't have a lot of memories of my dad, but my mom did a really good job at telling me, what an awesome guy he was. He was a provider. He was a really nice, funny guy, family guy, worked hard. And so, although I did not know, remember those memories of my dad, she did a really good job at setting the foundation so that when I grew up, if I was going to date somebody, I wanted a really nice guy that was going to work, that was a family guy. So most people say that a girl that grows up in a single-parent home will be, statistics show that they might be a little wild and all that. But my mom was set a great example. I was raised in church. I had examples of what a young lady behaved and did. And so I'm just grateful. There was a lot of people praying for me. And so I don't have that same experience that people would think that I have. I do not have low esteem, that people think that they have. She did a great job that, most people don't understand being dark-skinned. It is different. So even as a young kid, my mom made me feel like I was something. So not just out of beauty or anything like that, but if my mom said I was somebody, it didn't matter what anybody else said. I believed her.
Yeah, you can take it to the bank.
You can take it to the bank. If Bobby Sanders said it, I believe it. She was so riding so closely with Jesus that I believed her.
They would. They didn't play, boy. They didn't play going up. And then I guess having an older sister and brother.
Oh yeah my brother is 9 years older than me, and he did a really good job at. I'm kind of spoiled by my brother. If I call him, he's coming. I had to get adjusted when you get married that my husband can do it because my brother can do it. He can change the tire. He can come. My brother and sister really, the older I get, the more I realize that as a family, we were very connected. My mama did a really good job at making sure that if one of them called, that we showing up. So I had a very supportive family.
That's good. That's good. And I think that, like I said, that is important. Being, not only from the inner city, but then now again working with inner city kids, just to have that experience. Because, it's difficult for somebody who hadn't been there to tell you how to survive or how to get over or how to, persevere. But for you having that experience, you speak to them. Is there anything that like sticks out in your mind, where you kind of had talked to anybody in the past?
Well, what sticks out in my mind is that a lot of doing the work that we do, we try to make sure you have like conflict resolution skills. Yeah. We try to make sure that, they have support here. And I had those things at home, but sometimes people forget that outside the home, right?
Yeah.
So I spent a lot of time outside the home, and the same thing that these kids, I had friends that were in gangs. I had friends that sold drugs, did a lot of stuff that I could have easily been involved. And it wasn't until I got older that I realized how much strength you have to say no. Wow, right? I know these things. I know to say no.
Yeah, but just say no campaign growing up. Right.
I had to say no. And I had to be, there's that self-esteem again. I had to be confident to know, regardless if they stopped talking to me because I said no. I said no so much that people were okay with me saying no and still wanted me to come hang out. And they respected me as a kid to realize that now she wasn't going to do this and this and this, and let's not do it around her. Because like you said with sports, let's go back to sports. I was so good at sports that people wanted to see me succeed. So they made sure that they supported me and tried to keep me out of trouble. Not saying I was a perfect child again. It was some things that my mom probably had to whoop out of me. She did not spare the rod. But mostly because I'm so happy-go-lucky and I feel like nice. That sometimes people take that as a weakness. And then they were very surprised.
They saw G win.
She's a different.
She's a different person. But no, that's good though. You think about it, and that's like something real powerful that you said because we always hear about people saying, you make sure like interviews or job have a confident yes. You know what I'm saying? But you said you had a confident no.
No.
And that's something I like. You don't really hear that, and I think that if that's proclaimed and people really can hear that more and more, then more people can be like yourself, confident, and then comfortable in their own skin growing up, and we can have a lot more success stories. And one thing I found that there are a lot of success stories, but it seems like negativity is like sales, and it always catches our attention, especially in Memphis. So. What's your vision for trying to counteract that or help to combat the negativity that Memphis has?
Memphis has a lot of negative, but we also have a lot of great things coming. Right. So Boys and Girls Club had a Youth of the Year last week, right? Okay. So Youth of the Year is that we have 19 clubs across the city.
Okay.
And so at those sites, the high school kids, they participate and they get recognized for being leaders in their clubs and in their at their schools for good grades. They say speeches, they write essays, and we had Stan Bell come and do the MC last week. And so all these kids, the finalists, they can win scholarships to schools, right? And so we always try to invite people here because once they come to this event, they hear the amazing stories and the things that these kids had to overcome in their communities. And these are positive things. These kids can be doing anything in our city, yet these kids go to a Boys and Girls Club after school every day, spending their time on something positive rather than in the streets. And so what we want to do is spread awareness about those things, get more kids involved in our programs so that those kids are exposed to doing those things. And more people know about what Boys and Girls Club do. We have some great kids. We have kids that have left Boys and Girls Club about to graduate from Hampton University. They're going to college. They're doing amazing things. We have one thing I love about Boys and Girls Club, I was talking to someone earlier, is that we have people on our staff that grew up Boys and Girls Club kids, right? So they experience those same things. Some of them have PhDs. Some of them I go so many places and they say, I used to go to the Boys and Girls Club. It was a professor at the University of Memphis. So we just need to market. We need to spread more awareness on the great things that our kids are doing. And maybe it'll be contagious like COVID, right? That it's spread, that so many people get connected to the positive things that I just don't think that lightness and darkness can be in one place. So let's just spread the light.
Yeah, no, that's good. I love it. And like, and you know, being yourself in this position you have, you know, of course, you know, being a wife, you know, being a, you know, community leader, you know, do you feel like there's a balance between that, or you just kind of go to your childhood and be yourself, you know, how do you navigate that?
I'm really focused on being myself. Honestly, when I was preparing for this job, I had a talk with God, right? It was right before the last big interview.
Yeah.
And I was like, if I can't be Gwendolyn, I'm not sure if I want this, right?
That's good.
And so I remember before the last presentation changing the title of my presentation because I felt like it was so that it wasn't me. And if they give me this opportunity, I want them to know who I am. Right. So I changed the title to my presentation. And I'm glad I did because they loved it. It's actually what helped me get the job.
Yeah.
So I'm glad.
What's the title you say?
Are We There Yet?
Okay.
I wanted to reference the movie and be dramatic in my
okay.
presentation at the beginning. And I'm glad I did.
Wow,
because it was more Gwen.
Right.
And I'm thankful for that.
Yeah.
So I do like balance. I still am an old school girl. I like to eat dinner with my family. I want to go to church on Sundays. Right. I'm going to work extremely hard. And I'm glad that my family understands that this takes a lot out of me, but a lot of the activities that I do, I am able to take my family with me on some of those things. So it's a balance. And the work, my family loves doing some of these things. So a lot of the things that I have to do in the community, it's just volunteer time because you know, whether it's church or a sorority or fraternity, we're always committed to giving back. So the work that I would do, I would be doing it anyway, whether I was a CEO or just Gwen.
Right. So it's just something that's in you anyway. You kind of, I know you are big on community, especially with, you know what I'm saying, sorority, and so this just kind of like falls in line with what you do. And then we grew up like that.
Yeah, my mom used to visit the sick and shut-in.
Like community was like,
always doing it. You know, we didn't exactly know what it was. We just knew she was going over Sister Johnson's house. But it just always give back. I'm excited about doing something. I find I get energy from it, and I just feel like my mom always said, in order to have a friend, you must show yourself friendly. So I try to show myself friendly. If I can, every once in a while, I just got to rest. But if I can go and support or give back, I really try to do that.
Okay, no, that's good. I love it, really, though. And you think about it, like you're saying, just, I mean, I'm just thinking back to growing up, we was basically like going from this person's house to eat, this person's house to eat. We were just, like, that's what we did, community, just seeing each other and like, I mean, we saw each other, 3-4 times a week?
Yes.
Yeah. So sad about force and not by choice. But, you know, that kind of leads to what you're doing now.
Right.
Your work with your sorority. And now, what sorority are you part of?
Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated, 1920.
All right, so tell us a little bit about that and kind of how that came about. Because, you know, like, Zeta may or may not be the most popular in this region.
Right. So in Chicago and different areas.
Yeah, California. I know it's popular.
Growing up, I only heard about, really two, you hear about AKA and Delta.
Right.
And so when I went to University of Memphis, my track coach was a Zeta.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So she was a mentor to me.
Right.
And I respected her.
Right.
And I stayed one summer I stayed in a dorm. It was a bunch of girls in there who ended up being Zetas, and they were really nice to me, right?
Yeah.
Like you said, giving, hanging out, doing something. I'm going to be honest. One day, I was hungry. And I'll never forget, this young lady brought me some food, right? Yeah. She didn't have to do that. Right. And I meant not like a plate of food. She went to the grocery store, bought some items, and gave it to me. And I thought, that was nice. She didn't have to do that. And so when I think of sisterly, that to me was very sisterly.
Wow.
And so I did some more research, and I realized that, you know, that fit my personality. That's the part that I wanted to be a part of. So anytime I do something, I will say Zeta Phi Beta, right? I rep it, and you know, my sister is a Zeta now.
Yeah.
I love Zeta. I'm friends with, you know, all of them. We all doing the same thing, but I love Zeta. I feel like sisterly scholarship service and sisterly love. That's what we represent. And for those who are not aware of Zeta Phi Beta, we are the only Zeta Phi Beta and Phi Beta Sigma. Here's the history. Since we're talking about Black history, a lot of people say they frat, right?
Right.
They're not.
Okay.
There's only one brother and sister organization, and that's Zeta Phi Beta and Phi Beta Sigma.
Wow. Okay.
Right? So when they say that, it's not of God. No, I'm just kidding. It's not of God. No, I'm just kidding. Z-Phi Soros. No.
Yeah. No, I didn't know that.
Right. See?
Right. Okay. You just kind of assume down the line, but
they're not.
Those two are actually Phi Beta Sigma and Zeta Phi Beta. All right.
The only constitutionally bound organization.
Wow.
Google us.
But no, that's good. That's good. But so that, like I said, that intertwines and aligns with what you're doing at the Boys and Girls Club.
Right.
So that's I mean, kind of, that's amazing how it all works out.
It really works out. I know. I used to hear people talk about, one day you'll find something you love and you won't call it work anymore.
Yeah.
And I remember, so I am happy-go-lucky, laughing and playing and stuff all the time. And I remember my god sister used to be like, one day you're not going to be able to laugh and play like that. And so now I look at my paycheck and I was like, you didn't think that God was going to create an opportunity for me I get to create this atmosphere for kids.
That's
and
good.
so I used to run from it, though, because I remember being in church and someone had said, you're supposed to work with kids.
Really?
And I was upset because I had got my master's degree. I wanted to take off my resume anything that had to do with kids.
Yeah.
And but one day I just said, okay, I surrender. And the moment I did, life just changed for me.
Wow.
And even when I had low paying jobs, there's nothing that I wanted that God didn't provide for me. And so once I surrendered, I got paid to do something that I love to do and give it my very best. And he's opened up doors for me that I never imagined. Like this, to me, to be in this seat as the CEO of such an amazing organization, I just want to be the person that he wants me to be in this seat, and I want to do an amazing job. I just don't want to be all right. There's the competitive edge again. I'm like, okay, God, if you open this door for me and set me in this seat, please surround me with the right people and let me do the work that you want me to do. And so I pray I do an amazing job, and I pray that the kids' lives that I come in contact with and our staff are never the same, and that they feel the same kind of peace and joy that I have in their own way.
Wow, that's good. That's amazing. I love it. Like I said, I said earlier off camera, I said, I'm sure they didn't know they got a comedian for CEO. But like you said, just you being able to be you that's so important.
Yes.
Especially in this day and time.
Yes.
We got so many carbon copies with social media and this person trying to be like this. It's really not, there's really not a lot of atmosphere where people push people to be themselves.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? But, a lot of people do things because they see somebody else do it. But for you to be comfortable in your own skin, be able to be yourself, and I just think that's amazing. And do something you love too.
Yes.
At that. So I think that's amazing. And so if you, had something to say or you were going to speak to, like I said, youth, it doesn't necessarily have to be young women, but young boys who may have had a similar situation or upbringing as you, like what would you say to them?
Believe in yourself.
That's good.
Write it down. Visualize it.
Yeah.
I know this might sound crazy, and non-believers or whoever watching this, but 4 years ago I would be the CEO of Boys and Girls Club. Now, could I imagine it? No.
Yeah, wow.
But I put it in my notes that I would
Really?
be. Yeah, because
Wow.
I was like, I've been this, what's next, right?
Right.
And so you have to visualize it. Wow. And if I can visualize it, then I'm going to take the necessary steps. But like, even when people say that you can't, you can. And if those negative people, like one thing about me, if you're a super negative person, you can't even talk to me.
Yeah.
I will cut you off. I don't want to deal with it. So if you're out there, kid, boy, girl, or otherwise, believe in yourself. Be crazy enough to believe that you can do it, and try. Don't be ashamed or afraid to fail. Keep trying. go do it. And when the other people lazy and don't go, get up and go. One thing about me is my work ethic. I'm gonna give it a try. Now this job, if I had not gotten it, I was okay in my spirit that it was not because I didn't give it everything I had. It was not because I was not prepared. If I didn't get this job, it wasn't because I didn't try.
Right.
And so if you do everything you can to be prepared and for what you want, then I can live with that.
That's good.
And I'm just thankful that what Michelle will, when Jesus said yes, nobody can say no. So I'm glad he said yes today. And gave me that opportunity because I'm excited. One, there's never been a woman in this position, and now we finally got someone from Memphis because a lot of the previous CEOs were not from Memphis. So I'm homegrown, and so everybody needs to support the Boys and Girls Club because they finally got a Memphian in the seat. So Memphians, we need you to support Boys and Girls Club.
No, that's good. That's good. And then speaking of support, so how can they support the Boys and Girls?
Right. So you can volunteer your time.
Okay.
You, if they're talent something that you want to do and you feel like the kids need exposure, or you can donate your money, right? So a lot of people may think that if it's $1, it's too small. No, we take everything. We're able to charge kids $10 or let them go free because of donations, generous donations. You can sign up for monthly donations. You can support some of our events. Anything you want. One-time donation, you can go to our website, www.bgcm.org. You can show up at 44 South Remember and drop off a check. You can sign up for our newsletters and anything. Boy, we have 19 sites across the city. We have a technical training center that we deal with kids from 16 to 22. So if you're not going to college, we do logistic, automotive, STEM, culinary arts.
That's good.
Welding, and we pay those kids 16 to 22 a stipend to come and learn these programs, and then they have a certification after. So you can do all this at our 19 sites. We're always, if we don't offer these particular services, if it's something that you feel like our kid can benefit, we want you to get involved. So it's many ways to get involved, and there's no other day better than today to get involved with Boys and Girls Club of Greater Memphis.
No, that's good. That's good. Wow. So look, I've enjoyed the interview. Like I said, appreciate you coming out, taking, time out your busy schedule. I think we rescheduled 3 times.
Really? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. They will change. I said at the end of the week, I have to let you know.
Yeah.
But everybody needs to watch your show, David.
Yeah.
David. We're going to make him go viral. If you're not watching David's podcast, who raised you? No, I'm just kidding.
No, I appreciate that. Definitely. Look, on that note, don't forget to subscribe to this podcast so you can hear amazing guests and stories like like you said, my cousin, Gwen here. And so, turn your post notifications on. Make sure that you're notified whenever we bring fresh, new, and exciting and amazing content just like this. And so, look, also don't forget to support the Boys and Girls Club of Memphis, and the contact information will be right here on the screen that you can find various ways to do that. But remember, there's nothing like living the good life. We'll see you next time. All right, peace.